Independence Day, listener, and welcome to another edition of the Coco and Daltz podcast. We're real people doing real reviews. And as we record this fine piece of art right now, it is July 4th, which in the United States is Independence Day.
Not to be confused with Bastille Day, which, according to CNN, is France's Independence Day.
They don't have it anywhere else. Well, they have July 4th in other places. They just don't celebrate Independence Day. I'm not Coco.
And I'm not Daltz.
And so we're not here to talk about patriotism. What are we here to talk about, Coco?
We're here to talk about The Tomorrow War.
What?
A brand new Amazon original movie. It dropped on July 2nd, starring Chris Pratt. It's pretty much set in the present day. I believe the opening scene says it's set in December 2022. When the World Cup is apparently going on.
Inexplicably.
So I guess maybe because Qatar is so hot in the summer, they moved the World Cup to December due to climate change.
I believe so.
And during the championship match of the World Cup, a time portal opens up and soldiers appear to tell humanity that in 30 years' time, we are fighting a war against aliens. We are getting our butts kicked badly. So we are drafting people to send into the future to battle the aliens. Otherwise, humanity is gone. So Chris Pratt plays a science teacher who used to be in the army. He served in Iraq. He gets drafted to go to the future, along with Sam Richardson as Charlie, Edwin Hodge as Dorian, some other people. They make it to the future where they meet Yvonne Strahovski, who is a scientist and soldier. She's working on like a neurotoxin to kill the aliens. She and Chris Pratt team up. They're able to find the toxin, but because in the future everything is destroyed, Chris Pratt now has to bring the toxin back to the present day to manufacture it to kill the aliens before they destroy humanity in the future. Does that make sense?
It made sense to me, but I saw the movie, so
I
was sitting beside you, remember?
Oh, that was you?
Yeah, that was me.
Also starring is J.K. Simmons
Who's
as
awesome.
Chris Pratt's conspiracy theorist, off-the-grid living dad.
Who looks like Santa Claus. And so in one scene, he's called Conspiracy Santa.
Which is pretty accurate. So, Daltz, you got anything to add to the summary, or are you just going to jump right into your opinion?
Well, I want to hear what your opinion is before I want to hear what my opinion is.
Oh, no, I've already just talked for a long time, so it's...
Well, I don't have anything to add. I will say that it was appropriate because we watched this on Independence Day, and this is almost exactly the same as the movie Independence Day.
This is a great movie to watch on Independence Day because you really don't have to think too hard about it. It's just a lot of kicking bad guy butt. And it's pretty mindless.
Yeah. So what did I think of it? I'm glad you asked, Coco. So
we actually haven't been drinking yet, believe it or not.
Not yet. So going into this movie, listener, you should know that Coco had a predisposition because she hates Chris Pratt.
He is the worst Chris.
She does not like him, and she laughed every time he talked. In the movie. It was at the wrong places.
It was probably not a good sign for Daltz because legit 3 seconds into the movie, we got the close-up of Chris Pratt's signature, dumb, confused face, and I just started cracking up.
Yeah.
And that is, literally 3 seconds into the movie. That's the opening shot.
So she had made her mind up about this movie before we already watched it, which is fine, because that's what I do when we watch the superhero movies that Coco tends to watch. I'm like, oh, this is going to be dopey. And then it ends up being not dopey. But in this one, I was like, this could go either way. This could be really bad, or it could be really good. And the reviews have been mixed to good. Some of them have been good. Some of them have been like, oh, it's just schlocky. I actually like this movie. And I'll tell you why, Coco. And Coco is so shocked she's looking at her phone, not even paying attention to me.
That's like every day.
Yeah,
that's a day ending in Y in our relationship.
Day. Yeah, exactly. Independence Day. Maybe I'm independent from this conversation. Okay, so I like this movie because it was clever. It had a really original idea. it was time travel, and it was like aliens under the, the aliens could have been anything, and we've seen them time and time before, like these nasty creatures that just won't die.
They were really nasty.
Yeah, they had not brushed their teeth. It was clear.
No.
They had not been flossing, and I actually liked Chris Pratt in this. I thought he was funny. His timing is really good. He's the same guy as in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's Star-Lord, the same thing, the wise cracks and stuff like that.
He's like Steve Carell and Ryan Reynolds. He's found his lane, and he doesn't deviate.
Yeah.
It's the same shtick in every movie.
Yeah, he got in shape for Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, because he was in Parks and Rec, right? And he was kind of schlubby in that.
And he's got a little bit of a dad bod going on in this movie, but
I don't know.
He's kind of ripped.
I think he's kind of ripped, yeah. I don't have a dad bod like that. And I like to think that I work out every day.
I do see Daltz flexing in the mirror every day, listener. So
and I don't even know that Coco's there when I'm doing it. I just do that, and all of a sudden I get busted. So anyway, good movie, good plot. I found the twist about the daughter, and I won't reveal exactly what the twist is, but you can probably figure it out. Chris Pratt and his daughter. I thought that was very interesting, and because I have daughters, it sort of tugged at my heartstrings, and I found myself welling up a little bit, because I can imagine the same situation with my daughters and in the future, and unrealized and unhad conversations and all that sort of stuff. So maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but it was actually pretty good in that regard.
Daltz's grad student, like PhD dissertation on the Tomorrow War.
I'm going very deep on the Tomorrow War, which is actually just Independence Day, only remade without Will Smith.
Right.
Did I mention that already? And I thought it was fine. The action was really good. Some of the stuff was really believable. These kinds of movies, you get into a vibe, and you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting into here. And it didn't disappoint me in that way. I wasn't expecting a treatise on anything like that. The final denouement to say, exactly what this movie represented, when you and I had a conversation during the movie itself.
Speak American, bro. It's 4th of July. None of that French.
It's not Bastille Day? Oh. So when we had that conversation about what the overall theme was, like it is about climate change. The movie is about climate change. Even though they're blowing stuff up and they're killing nasty critters and stuff like that from outer space, this movie is about climate change.
Maybe that's why the World Cup is being played in December and not in August, like it usually is. Because we legit were like, why is it Christmas and the World Cup is on?
Yeah.
And then later it's like, oh, climate change is going to kill us all. It's like, well, maybe that was foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. Like, very first shot of the movie is
Cutter.
Yeah, Cutter.
So I've spoken enough about this right now, Coco. I want to offer you the opportunity to provide listener with your opinion.
The floor is yours.
Yes, the floor is yours. Please, go ahead, Coco.
So Daltz is not wrong. I don't like Chris Pratt. He's super annoying.
Why?
He just annoys me.
Personally, or in a movie?
He's one of those people who, I irrationally hate. And also, he's a hunter, and he's churchy, and...
He's a hunter, really?
Oh, yeah. And, he probably voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. So, I do not like him. Mm-hmm. And
have you ever met him? Have you ever had a
not.
Conversation with Chris Pratt?
Have you ever had a conversation with Olivia Munn? How do you know?
No, but that would be great.
How do you know that you like her until you have a conversation with her?
Yeah. I don't actually. But you're basing your disattraction, your hate to him, based on something other than looks. I'm just basing this purely on looks with Olivia Munn.
And also, like I said, he's got his shtick that he does all the time, and it can be very tiring. Mm-hmm. And also Star-Lord is the worst. So when the trailer for the Tomorrow War came out about a month ago, the first trailer was hideous. It leaned very heavily into Chris Pratt as devoted family man and not so much on the action. Mm-hmm. And I saw that trailer and I tweeted it, and I was like, this looks awful. We are totally going to do a podcast on this because it's so terrible. We're going to be able to rip it up and down. And we can rip a few things about it, but I liked it too.
What? Did you really?
I totally liked it.
So I think that I gathered that because early on when you were laughing in the wrong spots, and then you stopped laughing in the wrong spots, and I was like, oh, has the tide turned? Has she been converted?
The beginning was definitely... So I've seen this meme of Tucker Carlson with this really dumb, confused look on his face. And the caption is, why does Tucker Carlson always look like a dog trying to understand a magic trick? And I feel like that's Chris Pratt's default expression.
That paints a picture.
So once we kind of got past like the opening where they're establishing him and his family and all of that, and we got more into the action, I really liked it.
Wow.
He became much less annoying
Yeah.
as the movie wore on. When he stopped trying to be like, you know, I don't know, like when he stopped trying to emote, really. Like even the scenes of him and Yvonne Strahovski like weren't annoying to me, which I can't believe I'm saying that about Chris Pratt.
Wow. I don't even know who you are, man.
Yeah, the story, like Dalt said, it was, you know, it was engrossing. I'm not going to say it's original. Like it's Independence Day and, you know, a lot of like time travel. It's like a lot of mashup and yeah. So it's a lot of mashups of a lot of different things. But the story was engrossing. The supporting cast was awesome, particularly J.K. Simmons. I wondered when he was going to show back up because we had one scene of him in the beginning and then a lot of nothing. And I was like, please let J.K. Simmons come back because he's the best. He's amazing.
He does have, like they mentioned in one of the reviews I saw, he does have prison muscles in this.
Oh my God, he totally does.
He is totally
like,
jacked.
He is ripped.
Yeah.
The guys who played Charlie and Dorian, I also enjoyed them. There were solid laughs in this. I thought there was a really good balance of action and comedy and like the more kind of like sensitive moments. Although the music could be very distracting in the sensitive moments. Like you could definitely tell when they were trying to tug at the heartstrings.
They were setting you up.
Yeah, they were setting you up. What else? What else can I say?
I can't believe you liked it.
I know. I will also say that Dalt's read beforehand, like, oh, rated PG-13 for, you know, alcohol use and sexual situations and moderate violence and gore. There was a lot. It was in no way, shape, or form moderate violence and gore.
I don't know who rated this moderate gore, because this is like over the top gore. Because that's why I said to you near the beginning of the movie, I was like, I have a pretty good feeling that there's not going to be moderate gore in this movie.
And you were right.
It's like Alien coming to Earth and we got to kill Alien. I was like, how are they going to do that? They're not going to go up to it and shake its hand and say, would you please leave, eh? Like there's going to be slaughter.
Oh, why you got to eat the people, eh? Like the only reason I can think why they would rate it moderate is because clearly the aliens are CGI, so it's not real gore.
Yeah, but
like...
but the aliens are like eating the people. Like the soldiers who are going after them, they're chewing on them and they're whipping them around and stuff like that.
And then like at the end, like Chris Pratt is stabbing the lady alien in the eyes with like talons and stuff, and it's pretty disgusting. Like there was one part when I actually had to look away.
Wow.
Yeah, there was one part when like it was the eye stabbing part. I was just like, oh, make it stop.
Oh, I thought that's because you were attracted to me and you were looking at me with fondness.
Yeah, that as well.
Oh,
especially because Daltz is sitting around without a shirt on today, people. So I got a whole lot of man I get to look at.
More man than you want. Maybe it's because the blood was yellow. Or greenish.
It was like bile.
Yeah,
colored.
It was kind of. It was alien blood, you know.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yeah.
So wow, I'm astounded. I'm really astounded. And
then of course the undercover like climate change message and sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But then also like there were some threads at the very beginning that you thought are just meaningless throwaway things, like the kid who knows about volcanoes, and then suddenly at the end it comes back and like, oh, we actually need his knowledge.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
I really like I try to follow these movies for the script, because I want to imagine how this looked on paper. So I think that all the time when I'm watching these movies. And I think this would have been a really fun script to read, because there's a lot of really good one-liners. There's a lot of really good zippy jokes and stuff like that. And sort of like the subtle jokes, and everybody's in on the joke. Like it's not just Chris Pratt with being the funny guy. There's also a couple of the other characters are throwing lines down and everything like that. So it actually was pretty balanced in that way, and it's more than just like these action kind of movies. They can't be just all about slaughtering the bad guys. There's got to be some lightness in them.
One thing that did kind of give me a little bit of pause is in the very beginning. Charlie is a person of color, and he's Sam Richardson. And he was kind of like your stereotypical, like, funny black sidekick. And I was just kind of like, oh, God, really? Are we going there? Like, it's 2021. Like, come on. But he and Edwin Hodge, who plays Dorian, they are both people of color. They had very big roles in this. There were also a lot of people of color among the soldiers who are sent to the future or already in the future. So that was good to see a diverse cast. And then, of course, Yvonne Strahovski, she's a corporal or a colonel and in the army. So she's given all the orders. And that was good to see a woman kicking butt there, too.
I think there was some funny scenes, unintentionally funny scenes, like when they're doing the drafting of these people and sending them to the future. It's like everyday slubby people. Like it's
Right, totally.
like Chris Pratt is totally jacked and he's like the most in shape science teacher I've ever seen. Like he takes his shirt off and he's got a six pack and everything like that. And we're like, ooh.
I thought I saw like a little bit of a burrito baby going on.
Well,
So
maybe,
that's-
but he had lines on his stomach that were not folds. I mean, he was flexing.
Well, that could have been also makeup. Like
It could have
they
been.
can't do that. They can spray tan on a six pack.
But my
I know
point
what you're
is
saying,
that
yeah.
he was in really good shape.
Yeah.
And like like what science teacher looks like that? So there was
No
that.
science teacher I ever had.
Right. And then, but there was also the really funny scene where they're like, okay, we're going to help you get ready. And then they have to get to the future immediately. And then there's like these like administrative assistants
Right, totally.
dressed in fatigues. And they're like off to the future to die horrible deaths immediately because that's just the way it is. But it was really funny. I think it was intended to be like, these are the common people, but it actually looked like, this is your army? Like, I mean, is this the best you got?
Right, like yeah, exactly.
There's
There's
sacrificial lambs here.
and also it's 50 years after Vietnam, but nothing's changed. We're still drafting people to send off to a war.
But this was the world draft, though.
You know what though? Why is humanity worth saving? Like, I mean, we got too many people on this planet as it is. If we're down to 500,000, that's probably a number that the planet can sustain.
So you're on the side of like let the aliens win?
I'm just saying, we've screwed things up real good.
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, climate change is going to kill us all in 30 years anyways.
So let's take a left turn from that and talk about the origins of this movie. So this originally was a Paramount movie, and they wanted to put it out on the big screen, and then
Around the holidays, right?
and then the pandemic
Yeah.
kicked in, and then they sold it to Amazon, which I don't know if we mentioned this is on Amazon Prime,
I believe we did.
and it's $200 million they apparently sold it for.
Wow.
So this movie has got to make $200 million for Amazon Prime somehow.
I think Amazon makes $200 million a day just for selling tchotchkes and
Just for dropping my stuff on the doorstep and then taking a picture of it. Oh, your envelope is here. And what's in the envelope? Nothing.
right. Like we can't pay our people a living wage, but yeah.
So letter grade, Coco, what are you thinking?
I might give it like a B minus.
Wow.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd say this is a good 7.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked it.
Wow, that
liked it.
is tied for like the best grade you've ever
Yes.
given anything.
No, I don't think so.
I think
don't
it
say
is.
that.
I think it
Because
is.
now I'll change my grade.
Okay.
6.25.
It always changes.
I give it pi out of 5.
Ooh, pie.
I thought it was pretty good. I would recommend it. It's a good summer blockbuster when we used to do those things.
Right.
And if we ever go back into theaters, this would be the kind of movie that you should go see.
It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. It doesn't drag.
Is that what it was? It didn't feel that long.
I thought like the first maybe 30-ish minutes while they're setting everything up before they get to the future like was a little bit long,
Mm-hmm.
but then once they got to the future and the action really started, like then it moved along at a really good pace.
Yeah, and I think it gets better too. Like if you're watching the first 10 or 15 minutes, like Coco said, and she was laughing unintentionally at some of the scenes that were serious. And there's the original scene where they're dropping in from the sky when they move from the present to the future, and then they're just like randomly falling into a pool at the top of a condo in Miami. Is like that's not going to work. That doesn't happen. Like, so I was thinking, okay, this is going to be an impossible movie. There's going to be all sorts of these physically impossible things to do, but actually it picks up and it becomes a lot more believable as you go along. And maybe you get swept up into it, and there has to be a suspension of disbelief in a lot of these movies, but some of them are longer jumps than others.
Yeah,
And this wasn't too bad. I thought this was fairly reasonable.
definitely.
So recommend, you say,
It's
Coco.
a good movie to watch on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Chris Pratt is still the worst Chris.
He was still pretty good. I liked him. So what are the other Chris's then?
Evans, Pine, and Hemsworth. Mm-hmm. And I think there's probably a fourth one in there too that I can't remember, but all better than Chris Pratt.
And all Marvel superheroes too, right?
Not Pine. Pine was in Wonder Woman.
Oh, yeah.
And he's also Captain Kirk.
Right, right. So sort of the same, a superhero, but just not in the Marvel universe. They're all the same, really.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay. So anything else to offer on this fine, fine movie, The Tomorrow War,
I think that's it.
starring Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons as Conspiracy Santa.
Thanks for listening, listener. For another episode, I'm Not Dolls.
And I'm Not Coco.